Hello guys, welcome back again to another tutorial. My name is Dorothy. In today's video I'll be showing you the sewing part of this milk-made dress. In my previous video we did the pattern drafting of this project, while in today's video we'll be doing the sewing part. So if you haven't seen the video where we drafted this pattern for this dress, I will leave the link of that video in the description box, so make sure you check that video out so you don't miss out on any detail or explanation. Although it was supposed to be a two-piece because it came as a two-piece in the thumbnail, but my client wanted it as a gown, so I made it as a gown. But I will be showing you the process on how to make the two-piece if that is what you want. But for those who want it as a gown, you can also follow my step. I will also make it as a gown as well. So if this is something you are interested in, either in the two-piece or as a gown, please keep watching. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and also turn on the notification bell so you get to know when I upload new video every week. Without further ado, let's get started with the video. So guys, I used this pattern that I drafted to cut out my pieces on the fabric. So here is the back piece, and when I place this pattern on it, you can see that I left sewing allowances. So on the center back I left 1.5 inch zipper allowance, while on the side back I left 1 inch sewing allowance. Then I still use the same pattern to cut out the ruffles that is going to be in the bustier area, and as you can see I left 7 inches. Okay, we will be using this piece to make the ruffles in the bust area. So here is the pattern pieces we'll be using to cut the band. Okay, so I'll keep that aside, and for this part that is the bustier part, like I said in my previous video, this bustier is going to be serving as a lining for the ruffles at the bust area. Okay, so I'm going to be keeping this aside while we work on the bustier first. I will simply place a center front on the table flat like this. Then for this side front, I'm going to place it on the center front just the way you see me doing. Then I'm going to head over to the sewing machine and sew it. Then I'll do the same thing to the second side as well. I'll place it on the center front, then I'll head over to the sewing machine and sew it as well. So guys, this is what I have after I was done sewing. So the next thing I'm going to do is to notch this curve area so that when I am ironing it's going to sit perfectly. So after notching this part, I also do the same thing to the other side as well. I notch the curve area on the bust like this. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to head over to the ironing table and iron the seam line flat. This is what I have after I was done ironing. You can see that the seam line is now open. For this piece that I will be using to create the ruffles in the bust area, I will head over to the sewing machine and I'll run a gather stitch on this top here, and I'll also do the same on this down part here. So let me go and do this and bring it so you see what we have. So guys, this is what we have after running the gather stitch on the upper end here and also on this down below. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pick one of the thread and start pulling it to create the gather just like this. I will keep pulling these ruffles until it's able to cover the bustier perfectly. That is the lining piece perfectly. So guys, this is what I have after I was done gathering this up part. So the next thing is to gather this down below, and this is what it looks like after I was done gathering it. After that, I'm going to place these ruffles on this lining piece that is the bustier. First of all, I went on to arrange this so that it will cover up the bustier properly. Then I placed this on the lining piece right side facing each other, and I'm going to use my pin to hold them together. So I basically use my office pin to pin the ruffle to its lining all the way around. After I am done pinning this all the way around, I'm going to head over to the sewing machine and I'll sew this part, and I will also sew the both side. This is what I have after I was done sewing the neck area and the both side. Now I'm going to turn this over to the right face, then I'll arrange the seam line very well, and I'll take this over to the ironing table and I'll iron it. For the back pieces, I cut out lining for it and I use the same fabric as the lining. Now I place the both pieces together, that's the main fabric and its lining right side facing each other. Then I will head over to the sewing machine and I will sew the neck area and also the both side. So guys, this is what I have after I was done sewing the lining to the main fabric, and what I did off camera was turn it over to the right side and then iron them properly. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to place each of this piece together, right side facing each other, just the way you see me doing. Then I'll head over to the sewing machine and I'll sew this zipper allowance. So guys, this is what I have after I was done sewing the zipper allowance. So the next thing I'm going to do is to place my front piece on this back piece, right side facing each other. Then I will head over to the sewing machine and I will sew by the 1-inch sewing allowance that I left on the side. You can go ahead and take your body measurement before you sew this side. That is, you divide your bust measurements by 2, then you mark it, then you go ahead and stitch that part. But because I know that I left 1-inch sewing allowance on the side, that is what I'm going to stitch this side with. So guys, this is what I have after I was done joining the both side. Now the next thing is to fix the band to the half length. I already cut out pieces that I'll be using for the band, and I use this pattern to cut out the band. Okay, as you can see, I use the width of the pattern to cut out the band, while for the length I use the waist measurement, and the waist measurement I am working with is 28. So this band is 28 inches long, and I cut 2 pieces of this. So I place 1 pieces of the band on the half length like this, right side facing each other. Then I use the second band to cover it up, just the way you see me doing. Now I'm heading over to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew this band on the half length like this. So guys, this is what it looks like after I was done stitching the band to the half length. Okay, so if you are making this as a top, this is how you should go about it. Now to finish up the band on the half length, that is, if you are making this as a top, you will push in this bustier inside. That is, you push the half length inside like this. Then you will go ahead and sew the side, that is this both side here, and after you're done with that, you're going to arrange the band properly and you'll be sewing the band also. Okay, but when you're sewing, you're going to leave about 2 inches opening, so that when you're done sewing the band, you're going to use that opening to turn the half length to the right face. Then you go and top stitch on it. And for the skirt part, you're going to create another band for the skirt, fix the band on your skirt, and also fix your zipper, and that will be all. Okay, that is if you want to make this as 2-piece. But because I am making a gown with this, I'm going to attach this half length to the flare. But before we attach the half length to the flare, what you are going to do is to create the slit on the skirt. So on this waistline here, what I'm going to do is to divide my nipple to nipple measurement by 2, and I'll mark it on that waistline. After marking that, I'm just going to lift the first layer of this flare up, and I'm going to cut this through all the way down to the length of the flare. After cutting through all the way to the length, I'm just going to arrange the pieces back, and I will measure from the waist to where I want the slit to stop. Okay, so I simply placed my taper on the waistline and I came down by 20 inches and I make a mark there. So I want my slit to start from these 20 inches. So I'm going to head over to the sewing machine now, and I'm going to stitch this part from the waist down to this 20 inches that I came down by. So guys, this is what I have after I was done creating the slit. So the next thing is to attach the upper bodice to the flare skirt. Okay, so I'll simply place my half length on the waistline of the flare skirt like this. Then I'll head over to the sewing machine and I'll sew this. So when I'm done, I'll bring this so that you see what we have. So guys, this is what I have after I was done joining the half length to the flare part. So the next thing is for me to arrange this back piece together like this. Then I'll go ahead and close up the back piece, and for the zipper allowance, I'll be fixing my zipper on it as well. So this is what I have after I was done fixing the zipper and closing the remaining parts of the back piece. You can see how neat and sweet this looks. So the next thing we'll be doing is to work on the sleeve, and I'm going to keep this dress aside while we work on the sleeve. For the sleeve, I already cut out the pieces. So the length of this is 26 inches. So the total length of the sleeve that I'm working on is 24 inches. So on this upper edge, I'm going to fold in 1 inch, and at the lower edge there, I'm going to fold in 1 inch also. So I'm going to place my pattern on it to just create the armhole, and after that, I'm going to cut this out. So the next thing is I'll be opening up the sleeve. Then on this allowance, okay, I'm going to fold it in by the 1 inch that I left like this. I'll top stitch on it. Then on the length, I'm going to do the same thing as well. So I'm creating the elastic channel where I'll be passing the elastic. Okay, So guys, this is what I have after I was done creating the channel where I am passing the elastic. So I'll just trim off all rough edges. Now for the elastic, I have this 1/2 inch elastic band, and then I'm going to divide this elastic into two, just enough to create the gathered effect on the sleeve and also on the shoulder. So I'm going to basically divide this elastic into two. Then I will use my safety pin to hook the elastic just the way you see me doing. After I secure the elastic with my safety pin, then I'm going to pass this elastic through the channel that I have created. So just watch what I am doing. So guys, this is what I have after I was done passing my elastic casing through the channel that I created on the sleeve, shoulder, and also on the length of the sleeve. So the next we'll be doing is to fix the sleeve to the dress. So I'll basically place my sleeve armhole on the dress like this, just the way you see me doing. Then I will use my pin to hold it together. Then I'll do the same thing to the second side of the armhole as well. I'll simply place it on the sleeve just the way you see me doing. Then I will use my pin to hold it together. Now I'm going to head over to the sewing machine and I will just sew it. This is what I have after I was done fixing the sleeve. You can see how neat and beautiful this came out. So the next thing we'll be doing is to hem the length of the dress. So you can simply fold the length like this, then you cover it up, or you can take this to the weaver and just weave up everything. So this is what I have it looking like after I was done weaving the length, and I also went ahead to weave the inside also. You can also fold the length if that is what you want, but I don't want to fold it. I'm going to leave it like this. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do well to subscribe. Do not forget to give this video a thumbs up and also leave a comment for me in the comment section. Bye. See you all in my next video.